Hello, welcome. I'm going to tell you about what I read this month, kind of, sort of. Anyway, I'm going to make it fast because hubby's on his way home. We're not even going to talk about how close we live to his job and how I'm giving myself no time to film this. We're going to just get straight into it by talking about my monthly stats to begin with. So this is where I go over with you, not necessarily exactly what I read this month, though that pile is right here, and I will put an image of what I read this month up on the screen. But we're going to talk about like how many pages and that kind of jazz it equaled, that kind of stuff. I'm also going to go over what countries I read from, what states I read from, how I'm doing on my reading plans for the year. Oh, a readathon that I've decided to join, and what I have to read in the month of May, which now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't bring a single one of those books over here, so I guess I'll be making a graphic for that as well. Okay, let's start with how the month of April went. I read 9 books. That was a total of 3,655 pages. And again, I had a really good reading month, and my average star rating was 4 stars, as you can see on my little graphic that is hopefully like on one of the other side of me. Though I always forget to like move out of the way. Am I just making it more complicated? Probably. Okay, so yeah, it was a good reading month. You can see from the world map that I usually show you in the little chart that I read from a couple of different countries, but again, mostly the US and England. One of the things that I should say about this map, however, is please note that I do read from other countries in the world, and I do also read from other places in the US. This is just my tracking to see how many books I can read from around the world this year. So do know that. Don't worry. I'm going to probably get to all the countries, maybe not this year, but I am making a very specific effort on it in my library reading hall videos. So you can watch those if you want to see me read around the world, but I do choose my books randomly, so I have no idea when I'm going to get to what country. So that was just a little side note because I keep getting comments about that. I'm like, guys, I'm reading from everywhere. Don't worry. Next, they're going to be like, have you read a book that's published by an author who's from this planet? Because that seems to be missing. Okay, next I wanted to show you my little country map. I actually remembered to fill it out, or country. These are definitely not countries, though sometimes they feel as different countries. The states map. I have a map of the United States, not including Alaska and Hawaii. I will cross that bridge and figure that out when I come to it, and it's definitely not including all the territories and et cetera, et cetera. Okay, we just have the land mass here going on. But these are the countries that I've read from so far, and the ones that I added on this month are Louisiana down here, and this one, New Mexico, which looks a little wonky, and the color's also off. That maybe gives you a little better idea of the colors that are on here. And I don't really have a particular plan or approach to getting different states read. I'm just tracking to see how I read them and using up my diamond drills. That's really the main point of that. Okay, so I have a lot of reading plans that I have made for this year, and I've updated them and I've changed them, and I have a bingo card that I'm using to keep track of them, and I'll put that up on the screen for you. I've filled it out to show you what I've read this month in the month of April and how it all fits in there. And guys, I did a really good job this month, if I say so myself. Now, why or how did that happen? I have no clue, but it worked out, and I'm not mad about it. Did I use my TBR game to actually specifically pick books that matched up with the bingo card? I may have done that. I honestly don't remember anymore. It doesn't matter. Even the project space is actually filled in because the book that I read that fits the project space is Blind Love by Wookie Collins, my most disappointing read of the year. The only space that didn't get filled was the self-destruct list because I sold all those books. So I think I've had a video come out, or I have one coming up where I talk about my self-destruct list and I update you on that. And I mention that they're on sale in my Pengo shop. Some of them sold through there. The rest, when I went to Detroit recently, I took them with me and sold them at a used bookstore there. So if you see any books in those videos and you're hoping to get them used from me, sorry, they're all gone. So yeah, my self-destruct list, I guess, is really should be checked off as well because there is no list for that right now. So since we're talking about the books that I read this month and where they fit in what categories, I will show you real quickly a screen of all the books that I read this month in case you weren't following along. You can find out all my thoughts about them in one of my weekly reading wrap-ups from this month. And I have also made a graphic, or I should have put on the graphic, all the star ratings for each of the books that I read. Now, the only book that you won't find a reading wrap up on will be the Canterbury Tales, and that is because I will be discussing that pretty soon, if not already. Time is weird when you film. But that will be discussed in my high school required reading challenge live discussion that I am doing with my friend Alex. So I'll put a link for both of those videos down in the description box below if you want to hear about any of those books, or more specifically, the Canterbury Tales. Wow, we are like cruising along here. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is the readathon I decided to join. Now, thus far this year, I haven't joined a single readathon, and that was very intentional. And then I saw this one video announcement, and I went, oh gosh darn, you got me. Because it's the Sims readathon. And I will put a link down in the description below so you can find out all about that and what it's actually called, because I'm pretty sure I've called it the wrong thing every time I've mentioned it. But this is the first time I'm mentioning it to you on like the regular part of my channel. So this is basically a readathon where you create a life for a simulated character, and the way you create their life either creates your TBR, or the way I'm doing it is my TBR is creating their life. So I've already done step one, which is I've created my sim. So I have a little person whose life I'm going to control. It sounds weird when I say it like that. But anyway, read more. That is my character's name. You can meet her. I'll put her somewhere on the screen. This is just an already pre-generated character, and I love the punny name, and I think she's so cute, so I went with her. And I've created stats for her and all that kind of thing, and I did the whole character creation in a video that I'm releasing to my channel members because it was just going to take up too much space in my life and in this part of my channel. But I will be keeping you guys in the loop somewhat by probably my monthly reading wrap-ups, just kind of going over all the information and all the things that have happened to read more. So that's something fun and silly to look forward to, and I can't wait. And yeah, if you want a lot more of that from me, again, the videos will probably be for the members only, not because I'm trying to exclude you, but because I'm trying to, like, you know, there's only so many videos I can post on here before I drive myself insane. So what do you need to know about Read More? Well, so far I have discovered that she is in the world of Newcrest. She is romantic, outgoing, a foodie, and domestic. And you will be able to see on the chart that I will put up on the screen all the little details you need to know. But basically just that one green section titled Character is the first part that I have worked out. I do have an aspiration for her as well, which is in the purple section, and that is she wants to aspire to have a successful lineage. Now, these may all sound like really odd traits for me to pick for this person, but like I said, I actually used my TBR that I had already created to choose the characterizations for her. And the way the whole sim thing works is basically for each part of this person or their life or their character traits or that kind of thing, there is a prompt, and that trait, if you will, gets clicked off or something gets activated once you've picked a book to match the prompt and then read the book. I did it the reverse. I already had the books on my TBRs, so I took the books and I randomly generated prompts and tried to like match them together. It was a whole thing. It was a lot of fun. It was really just fun to see how it all progressed. And yeah, I look forward to seeing what happens in her life, because I've realized that because I'm going to go with an already generated TBR and force that into the prompts, it means that what happens in her life is kind of out of my control, and it's just going to be randomly generating her life, which does sometimes feel like what playing The Sims is like. If you know nothing about what The Sims are, that kind of thing, don't worry about it. We're moving on. Okay, now we're getting to our must reads, which I meant to bring over here to show you, but I'll just put them up on the screen, probably all at one time. I don't have too many books that I have to read in the month of May, and for me, a must read means like I have plans for something specific. Usually they have to do with book clubs or buddy reads. So I have a buddy read coming up, which will be for Sula. We will be discussing by the time you see this video, we should have already discussed the Canterbury Tales. And the next book we have for the high school required reading challenge is Sula. So if you have been wanting to read Sula by Toni and Morrison, or interested in having like a live discussion to participate in, like start reading it now. At some point up on my channel on the community page, and a thumbnail for the live stream will go up so that you can join us live or watch the recording and join the discussion on Sula. I am also for an in-person local book club at my bookstore that I go to reading Empress of Salt and something. I didn't write the whole title, but I'll put it up on the screen. I feel like this is a really well-known book on BookTube. It's actually a novella, and which means I'm probably going to get it out of the library because it's a super short book, like 90 pages maybe, and it's $17 brand new. And a couple of people in the book club have already read it. Like they've read it like a year or more ago and they didn't like it. And I'm concerned. So I feel like I can get through 90 pages, especially if I don't own the book and just to discuss it with other people. So that's the plan. Let me know if you've read it and if I don't need to be worried, or let me know that I need to be worried. Okay, and what's the last one? Oh yeah, so I started a book club with like my real life in-person friends, except we're not in person. We're actually meeting on like Google or Zoom. Anyway, that's not the point. We have a very loose, like when we can fit it into our lives, occasionally let's think about it book club, which now that I think about it, have we actually thought about a date for the next meeting? We may not have not. Editing me, remember to do that. But for that one, we are reading Dungeon Crawler Carl. We rotate who picks the books. I'm going to be reading that in May because I'm pretty sure we're meeting in May. I'm reading it in May anyway. Wish me luck. Yeah, there's a lot of help that I'm going to need with this upcoming TBR. I don't know what to think about that one. I think it'll be fun. I've heard mixed things. We'll see. It'll be a time. May will be a time. It'll be a season in life and reading. That's it. My husband's going to be home any minute, and look at me. I actually managed to finish this video before he got home. But that won't be true if I keep talking. So I'll talk to you next time. Let me know what you're planning on reading in May. Bye.